The house had never been this quiet. Since her divorce, Lisa had grown used to the soft hush that blanketed her small two-bedroom home like a comforter. No shouting, no late-night arguments, no slammed doors. Just silence and the occasional clink of a spoon on ceramic as she stirred her tea alone at night. Aaron, her 19-year-old son, was upstairs, as usual. He rarely came down anymore. He wasn't always like this. Once he was her cheerful companion, the kid who shared memes with her and called her Queen Lisa after she made his favorite pancakes. But lately, he had become an island, distant, short-spoken, and impossible to read. Lisa had chalked it up to growing pains, maybe the lingering aftermath of the divorce. After all, it had hit them both hard. His father had left suddenly, coldly, without even packing his socks. That sort of abandonment didn't just vanish. To cope, Lisa had started seeing someone new, Jake. A tall, blue-eyed insurance consultant with an easy laugh and crisp shirts that always smelled like bergamot. He wasn't perfect, but he was attentive. He listened, he showed up, and that for Lisa was more than enough. Then there was Clara, her best friend for over a decade. Clara was a wildfire in heels, always laughing too loud, wearing too much lipstick, and flirting with waiters twice her age. But Lisa adored her. She was the kind of friend who showed up with wine and gossip when your ex moved on before you even knew he had filed. That evening had felt normal. Clara came by unannounced, as she often did, arms full of snacks and that familiar bottle of red. Jake arrived a bit later, bringing Chinese takeout and a crooked smile. The three of them sat in the living room. Lisa curled up with her legs under her, Clara lounging across the floor. Jake stretched out in the recliner. They talked about nothing. The kind of nothing that fills a room and makes it feel full again. Lisa had excused herself early, the wine sinking into her bones. She kissed Jake on the cheek, hugged Clara goodnight, and dragged her aching body upstairs. She didn't even brush her teeth. She was asleep within minutes. At some point during the night, she stirred. The clock on her nightstand glowed 3:07 a.m., a glass of water, she thought. As she padded barefoot toward the kitchen, she paused halfway down the stairs. Voices, soft, muffled, drifted up from below. She froze, a woman's laugh. Then silence. Maybe the TV, she thought, or Clara having one of her loud phone calls again. Lisa turned around and went back to bed. By morning, Clara was gone. So was Jake. That wasn't strange. Clara often left without saying goodbye, and Jake had mentioned an early client meeting. But something felt off. In the kitchen, only 2 wine glasses sat by the sink. Lisa remembered 3. She remembered pouring 3. Aaron came downstairs around noon, hoodie up, avoiding eye contact. "Sleep okay?" Lisa asked, trying to sound casual. "Yeah," he said, opening the fridge, staring inside like he wasn't really hungry. She wanted to ask him something else, anything else, but the words died before they reached her tongue. There was a wall between them, a thick, invisible wall that had grown overnight. Later, while doing laundry, she found a silver earring under the couch cushion, Clara's, a hoop, thick and shiny. She smiled, amused. Clara always lost something. Lipstick, heels, patience. Lisa texted her, "Your earring's here, again, you're shedding." No reply. Hours passed. Still no reply. That evening, Jake messaged, "Rough day, talk tomorrow?" Something in her tightened. Everyone felt just slightly out of reach, like puzzle pieces forced into the wrong spots. Aaron didn't come downstairs for dinner. Lisa sat alone, staring at the extra plate she'd set out by habit. It was nothing, she told herself, just her imagination, just a tired woman in a too-quiet house. Still, that laugh in the dark echoed in her mind long after she turned out the lights. Lisa hadn't planned to clean Aaron's room. In fact, she typically avoided it altogether, respecting the unspoken boundary of a teenager's personal space. But that morning, something compelled her. Maybe it was the way he hadn't come downstairs for breakfast. Maybe it was the silence that now felt more suffocating than peaceful. Or maybe it was that earring, Clara's earring, shining under her couch like a secret left behind too carelessly. The door creaked open. Erin's room was its usual mix of clutter and chaos. Hoodies on the floor, notebooks stacked haphazardly, the faint smell of deodorant, and something musky. She gathered laundry with practiced hands, sorting socks from shirts, folding t-shirts automatically. Then, under his bed, her fingers brushed something hard. A phone, not his current one. This was an older model, scuffed at the corners, screen, cracked in the top right corner. She held it for a moment, debating, heart suddenly hammering. Don't. But her thumb had already pressed the power button. It buzzed to life. No password. Curiosity, or maybe something deeper, instinct, maternal fear, took over. She tapped into the Messages app. The first contact, Clara. The blood drained from Lisa's face. She opened the thread. You up? Yeah. Can't sleep. Thinking about you. Wish I was there, Ran. I can sneak in again. Your mom's knocked out early tonight. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. The text was from 2 nights ago. She scrolled further. There were weeks of messages, kisses, pet names, midnight plans. One picture, a dimly lit selfie of Clara in Erin's hoodie, her hair tousled in Lisa's kitchen. The timestamp? 3:02 a.m. The same night she thought she'd heard laughter in the dark. Her stomach turned. A message from Clara. You're more of a man than half the guys I've dated. You understand me. And Erin's reply. You actually listen to me. She never does. She. Lisa dropped the phone on the bed like it burned her. Her ears rang. Her vision narrowed. No, this wasn't real. This was some kind of twisted joke. She stumbled downstairs, gripping the railing, to steady herself. Erin was in the living room, headphones on, scrolling his phone. His expression didn't change when she walked in. I found your old phone, she said, her voice flat. He paused, removed one headphone. So? Lisa stared at him. Her son, her baby boy. Clara? He looked at her. For the first time, in weeks, their eyes met. He didn't blink. I know, she whispered. I read everything. A long silence stretched between them like a tightrope. Then he shrugged. I figured you would eventually. Her mouth opened, but words refused to come. She came on to me, he said, tone emotionless. That night she got drunk and stayed over. She was the one who kissed me. Lisa staggered backward, disbelief crashing through her. She's my best friend. She was lonely. So was I. You're my son. He stood now, not defensive, not ashamed, just cold. Maybe if you weren't so busy chasing guys like Jake, you'd have noticed. Lisa raised her hand, but not to strike, just to stop him, to stop the words. Her entire world was fracturing, and every sentence he said hammered another crack through it. She made me feel seen, Erin added quietly. You haven't looked at me in months. Lisa could barely breathe. Get out. What? Go? Stay with your father. With anyone. I don't care. Just get out. He stared at her, face unreadable. Then he walked past her, up the stairs. A minute later, the sound of a suitcase zipper broke the silence. Lisa collapsed onto the couch, staring at the spot where Clara had sat 2 nights ago, laughing, drinking, lying. The betrayal was sharp and intimate, deeper than any knife. Her phone buzzed. Jake. Miss you already. Can I come by tonight? She stared at the screen. Something in her twisted. She didn't answer. Not yet. Lisa hadn't cried. Not yet. Even after Erin walked out with nothing but a duffel bag and a glance that held neither apology nor regret. Even after she stared at the sofa where Clara once rested her bare feet like she owned the place. Even after rereading the messages on that old phone until they blurred, still, no tears. Only a silence that filled every corner of her chest. But something else had begun to settle in. Suspicion. Jake. He had sent a sweet text the night it all exploded, just like he always did. Polished, timed, effortless, too effortless. Lisa. Stared at his message again. Miss you already? Can I come by tonight? Something about the phrasing gnawed at her. He hadn't asked if she was okay, not once. Just assumed he still had a place. She didn't respond that night. The next morning, Jake arrived unannounced, holding coffee like it was a peace offering. You're up early, he smiled, stepping inside without waiting for her to invite him. Lisa took the cup but didn't drink. We need to talk. Jake hesitated. About Aaron? Her eyes narrowed. So you know. He looked down, then back at her. I saw them, months ago, her and Aaron. I didn't know what to do. The cup trembled in her hand. You knew and didn't say a word? Her voice was soft but sharp. I thought it was a mistake. I thought maybe it was nothing. Just a weird moment. She was flirting. He looked uncomfortable. I didn't want to make it worse. Lisa's knuckles whitened. And you thought keeping it from me would somehow protect me? I didn't want to hurt you, he said, stepping closer. You were finally healing. I didn't want to rip open wounds. Lisa laughed bitterly. You didn't want to hurt me? Jake, I woke up in a house that was already shattered. Everyone knew except me. Jake looked genuinely remorseful, but his eyes gave away attention, like there was more. There's something else, he said, slowly. Lisa's body tensed. What now? He exhaled, dragging a hand through his neatly combed hair. It wasn't just Aaron, he said finally. Clara and I, we had a thing. Before you and I were official. Just once, a long time ago. Lisa stared at him, jaw clenched. When? She asked. Jake avoided her gaze. About a week after we first met. Before you called it a relationship. She came over when you were at work. Said she was dropping something off. She stayed. Lisa felt the room spin. Her knees almost buckled, but she gripped the table. So you lied to me, slept with my best friend, and then dated me like nothing happened. It wasn't serious then. I thought we were just casual. I didn't know Clara meant anything to you beyond being, well, Clara. Lisa stepped back, disgust rising in her throat like bile. You don't get to decide what matters to me. Jake reached out, but she recoiled. Lisa, come on, I made a mistake. But I didn't cheat. Not technically. That's what you're going with? Not technically? She felt the dam inside her finally crack. All the restraint, all the numbness, broke into jagged pieces. My son, she hissed, was sleeping with my best friend. You were also sleeping with my best friend, and none of you thought I deserved to know. Jake sighed, his mask of calm finally faltering. She's manipulative, Lisa. You know that. She played us all. Lisa walked to the door, opened it, wide. Leave. Lisa. Now. Jake hesitated, then stepped out into the hallway. He looked back once, but her face gave no sign of mercy. When the door shut behind him, Lisa locked it. Then she stood still, breathing heavily, as the silence pressed in again. But this time, it didn't feel peaceful. It felt final. She sat at the kitchen table, slowly, eyes on the empty chair across from her. She picked up her phone, not to message Jake, not to message Clara, not to chase Aaron. Instead, she opened a blank note, and she began to type. While I slept peacefully, everything around me was rotting. My son, my best friend, my boyfriend, all of them, while I was asleep. The bar words felt right, solid, true, and this time she wasn't going to stay quiet.